Hi folks, welcome to the latest MWIS Outlook. This updated on Tuesday the 13th of April. The ongoing story through the middle of the month is one of high pressure being dominant. There's a bit of a fly in the ointment though around this weekend and the start of next week as a frontal system tries to come in from the Atlantic. Overall though, it's going to be frequently dry and temperatures will be on the way up. It's still rather chilly though in the days ahead. This is the freezing level chart to take you through to the weekend, and we still have the risk of some overnight frost in the valleys and the glens where skies are clear overnight. As we go through the daytimes though, the freezing level on the mountains will lift and many hills will be above freezing point onwards into the afternoons. For Wednesday, you might be above around 1200 metres, you're still just sub-zero, but otherwise above freezing point. Now, the chilliest of the air is likely to be drifting in off the North Sea across England and Wales. As we go through the latter part of this week, I suspect many of the hills, though, will be above freezing point. It might just be the highest tops in Snowdonia hover around 0 Celsius even into the afternoon. Scottish tops, though, are likely to get just above freezing through Thursday and similar into Friday. Greatest risk of frost is in sheltered spots in England and Wales in the mornings by this stage. Again, will just depend locally if any cloud is around. Now, towards the weekend, we're generally just starting to get a little bit of an Atlantic air mass just moving in, so temperatures and freezing levels tending to be a bit higher overall, and I suspect that general trend of milder air is one that will be common into next week. Synoptic charts for the days ahead, and there's one to savour. It's not often we've got high pressure completely encircling the British Isles, but that's what we've got. It doesn't mean a completely dry day though, because we've still got relatively chilly air that exists higher up in the atmosphere, and that, with the strength of the April sunshine, will be enough to produce one or two local showers. These pretty well isolated, but where they do form will move around slowly for an hour or so you could just find you do get a downpour just in places, but most places you won't. Most places you'll stay dry. The wind is very light. The cloud will tend to build a little bit through the day. It will be variable all the way through because there's the leftovers of an old front somewhere muddled around in amongst it all. So even a simple chart like that sometimes isn't as straightforward as it seems. There's one or two local complications, but for many places it is a decent day. Thursday still sees high pressure in charge. It's just shuffling off a bit more towards Scandinavia. Temperatures are just lifting through the atmosphere as a whole at this stage, so things are becoming more stable. It means there's a lower risk of any showers. Again, we'll see some sunshine, we'll see a bit of cloud building up through the day, but most of the hills and mountains will be in the clear, and the air is still very clear, so visibility remains excellent. Some fronts over the Atlantic just starting to show themselves, but at this stage they're being held at bay by the high that is around. The wind stays light and temperatures are just a touch higher. Still got high pressure on the scene into Friday. Another fine day in prospect, but a cloud building up through the day. Generally a dry story. Again, there's some fronts which lie away toward the west, still not really making any inroads, so those are away to the west of Scotland and will stay there through the day. The main difference from that, though, is just a stronger southerly wind just across some coastal areas in western Scotland. Otherwise, the wind stays light. By Saturday, high pressure is still in charge. It's still holding off any areas of low pressure and fronts over the Atlantic. Some rain making inroads into Ireland though, but across Britain as a whole, it's very likely to stay dry with some sunshine and some fair weather cloud building up to the day. Some early morning mist patches, the wind most likely light, and temperatures above freezing up to the highest slopes. By the time we get to Sunday, though, it looks as though high pressure is just moving far enough away eastwards to allow those fronts over the Atlantic to make some inroads. So expect some rain, maybe fairly patchy in nature, but just to arrive across western Scotland, and a greater risk of some low cloud shrouding the hills in these areas as well, and maybe some of that getting into the western coastal hills of Wales too, possibly as far as the Lake District. It may well be, though, that for many areas it does stay dry and the hills clear and temperatures fairly pleasant compared to some recent times. Just watch the strength of the wind. That southerly wind, particularly across Scotland, could be rather strong and gusty. Now, this chart may not show things particularly well and doesn't have that much detail on it, but what we can just get from this is that idea around Sunday and into Monday of next week that we do just have a little trough of low pressure which pushes some rain in across western Britain. That's the main message, that we just expect a poorer day or so as we go Sunday into Monday. Once that's done with, it's likely that high pressure builds back again, and as we go further into next week, generally higher pressure is on the scene and we see drier, warmer conditions. It's likely by this point the high has dragged in some warmer air masses off the mid-Atlantic. So quiet weather again, but warmer than what we've seen through the past week or so. We shall keep up to date on how that story unfolds, and you can follow your local forecast for your area, of course, on our website. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.